Good afternoon, grinders. Welcome to your NBA SimLabs analysis for Tuesday, February 25th. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka BlenderHD. We got a 7-game slate tonight on DraftKings. So hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. Thank you very much. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. And remember, even when using SimLabs, it's very important to tune in for our 5 p.m. Eastern show, Grinders Live, and that follows by crunch time. They will get you all up to date with all the news because we got an injury report today. We got Darius Garland questionable. We got Fred VanVleet questionable. Jacob Poeltl questionable. P.J. Washington, Dylan Brooks, Al Horford. And obviously, if these guys are out, projections will change. Ownership will change. Everything will change, right? Not everything, right? We got some guys that really, question Monty Morris. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters that much, right? So we do have the situation room here at RotoGrinders showing you all the impact of injuries, possibilities today. And it's the NBA. You never know when it's going to happen. Hey, it could happen 3 minutes after lock, right? It's happened before like that. So definitely tune in throughout the day as our projections are updated, our sims are updated, and that's what SimLabs is. SimLabs is a way to put in what types of contests are you playing and produce competitive lineups that should show a positive EV. It's about the whole lineup, right? It's not about choosing players, but you can choose players because out of the 10,000 simulations that we run of every contest, I mean, there are instances where, a lineup that has no Grizzlies in it wins. And there are also outcomes where, the Grizzlies game, which, I mean, that's a very high total, right? The Suns Grizzlies game tonight. Maybe that goes to overtime and there's 300 points scored in that game. And now you needed 4 guys from that game in order to win. There are certain outcomes like that. But on average, what lineups have the biggest return, whether it be in first place equity or combined with cashing equity, that you should be playing tonight through our simulation. So I like going here to SimLabs, especially as a research tool. It doesn't matter even if you're building one lineup, right? This is a good way of saying, okay, what players are more likely to be in the winning lineup? What combinations of players are more likely? If I want to play this guy but not play that guy, is that a good decision? And you could judge it by the SimLab ratings in our SimLabs dashboard. You could save lineups in here also. So you could, if you're playing 20 lineups, you could go, okay, I'm going to run 50 for this, 20 for that, 5 for this, and just choose the ones that you want to play. So if we're playing, let's say, a small field contest today, the 1,000, 2,000 entries in the contest, right? Results range just means like how large is your player pool, right? Because if you put the results range up to high, you may get some lineups that have guys that are like 1% owned. That this may be a good lineup, but maybe you're not as comfortable playing, a $3,200 guy off the bench. But those lineups, I mean, based on our simulations, would still be as good as the lineups that may not have those kind of very weird players. If you put the results range at very low, you're going to get mostly the higher optimal rate players in the pool. It's gonna exclude kind of those. It's not going to include those lineups. So right, because we have tens of thousands of lineups that have already been created and simulated 10,000 plus times. So it depends on do you want like the top subsection? Do you want the whole section? So let's say I'm playing even let's say I'm playing a single entry contest, 500 or so entries or less. On a larger slate like 7 games, I mean I may not need a high results range. If you're playing like a 2-game slate, probably it's better to put a high results range because it's gonna be hard to get different. If you're using just the top of the top, you're gonna have a whole ton of lineups that may be very good, but also maybe duplicated a bunch. So let's go for single entry. Let's go just a low results range. I like taking a look at the optimal versus projected ownership, which we've already run here. And who is overowned and underowned today, right? Like we have De'Aaron Fox is a bit overowned, right? So when we say that he's overowned, that doesn't mean that you can't play him, right? We have his optimal rate versus projected ownership at negative 7.58. Okay, but understand what we have is optimal rate, which the chances of being in the best possible lineup at almost 28%, almost 27.82%. We have his ownership at 35.5%, which means he's 7.5% more owned than what his optimal rate is. But he has the highest optimal rate on the entire slate. So 27% of the time he's going to be in the optimal lineup. Even though 35% of people we have projected playing him, he's still going to appear in the optimal lineup more than a little over a quarter of the time, which is very high. He's the highest on the slate. We have like Kelly Olynyk at 21%, Vince Williams, Buddy Hield, 20%, right? So like Vince Williams is 3,600 and he's kind of a role player, but I mean, like, as far as like value is concerned, like he's the one, like he always sees, like Vince Williams, right? Negative 6.48. But he still has one of the higher optimal rates. So like you can't just fade everyone, right? The reason why they're owned is because they have a higher chance of being optimal. But the likelihood of you playing all of them together is probably pretty low. You probably shouldn't be doing that. If you're playing double ups, yeah, of course. So you have Desmond Bane as overowned, right? We have Vince Williams at overowned, Peyton Pritchard overowned. We got here's the same small forward, same thing, right? We got some centers a little bit overowned, and Santi Aldama is 14%. So like Santi Aldama, we have a negative 14. Oh my God, you can't play Santi Aldama. No, of course you can play Santi Aldama, just that you're probably not playing him with De'Aaron Fox. You're probably not playing him with other over-owned players. So like Santi Aldama is his optimal rate is 17.8%. Okay, but he's going to be, we have him projected at 32% owned. That's all this number is saying, but 17% chance of being optimal is pretty good. You may not want to fade him. But most likely, you're not going to be playing one of these guys, two of these guys, and you can choose. You can say, oh, who do I want to play and who do I not want to play? And what do those lineups look like? What does a non-Santi Aldama lineup look like? What does a Santi Aldama lineup look like? That's kind of what you use SimLabs for, right? The combination of projection, correlation, and leverage. SimLabs does that for you and gives you a rating. Okay, so let's say we wanted to see what a Santi Aldama lineup looks like. Let's say we don't want to fade him, so we lock him in, and I'm just going to get 20 lineups, right? And these should be pretty good lineups. And it doesn't take that long. Look, 20 lineups in what? 3 seconds? Look how quick this is. So here we go. No, this one has Fox, Pritchard, right? Aldama. It's had some high owned players in it. And look, I mean, we got Durant and Plumlee, Santi Aldama, Paul, Missy. I mean, look, there's really no one here under 13% owned. Trey Murphy, right? SimLabs is saying that this is great. This is a great lineup. And look how it's pretty chalky. It's pretty damn chalky. So what is that telling you? Maybe I don't have to necessarily say, well, I'm not going to play Fox. I'm not going to play Paul. I'm not going to I'm not going to play this Memphis Suns game. I'm not going to play this Spurs Pelicans games. These two games that have very high totals in it. And you say, I'm going to fade both those games. It's like, is that the right choice? Is that the right choice? SimLabs is kind of telling you it's not. I'm telling you that that the higher expected value lineups do play combinations of both of those games. But here are like the Santi Aldama lineups, right? You have one with Morant, Williams, Aldama, right? And then you got De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Durant, Mason Plumlee, right? You got like both sides. You basically, I mean, essentially, you're playing both sides of both games. Look at this lineup. This lineup essentially is you're only playing these two games. Maybe you want to play this lineup. Essentially, you're playing 3 Grizzlies, 2 Suns, and then you're playing 2 Pelicans and 1 Spur. So you could save this lineup. So I'm going to save that lineup. So that's a consideration. And it rates pretty good. It's very high. Right. And look, and you see here, 7.9% CJ McCollum. I mean, understand that the reason why these they're like this lineup is much chalkier than I would have expected. But remember, this is set for single entry contests at a very lower results range. And it has to include Santi Aldama because the lock player is here. Right. If we move to large field with a high results range, maybe these lineups wouldn't be rated as highly. Because remember, the larger the field, the more leverage that you should be looking to aim for. But not to the point of stupidity. Some people go way too far in the other direction, right? They go, okay, I'm gonna fade Fox. I'm gonna fade both those games. And then they play the lineup projects for like 28 points lower than anyone else's lineup. You're not in a good spot that way, right? But SimLabs does that work for you. So let's say, okay, we got that one lineup there, right? I also see in SimLabs we could see who is underowned, right? So like Eamon Thompson is underowned today. We see a lot of the point guard position is pretty strong, right? Because Fox, Pritchard, Paul, Alvarado, Morant, Luca, right? We got a lot. We got even Curry. Curry's here. Is Curry underowned or no? About the same. A lot of point guards. So maybe we do get a little bit different at point guard, right? Want to get a little bit different? Do we want to play? Do we play a guy like Eamon Thompson? Let me see what was rated. I mean, he's only going to be 1% owned, right? Optimal rate 5.65%. I mean, you could choose to do that. Let's say you wanted to play Eamon Thompson. I'm not saying that you should tonight. I'm saying if you just like, okay, I want to play an Eamon Thompson line. Okay, well, plug in Eamon Thompson, and what does that lineup look like? So you put it in. We just get 20 lineups as an example. And what do these lineups look like? Okay, and these they rate hot. I mean, look, 92, 91, 85, 84. These are fine, right? So you got Healed Curry, Eamon Thompson, Kelly Olynyk, Al Horford, Vince Williams, De'Aaron Fox. I mean, you're still playing some of the Pels Spurs game. You're still playing some of the Suns Grizzlies game. But this is gonna be a little bit more contrarian. But this lineup is fine also. Like let's line. I mean, Eamon Thompson is 1.1% on we as projected. So you're probably playing kind of chalky the rest of your lineup anyway, right? Here's a Santi Adama lineup, right? Eamon Thompson, Dylan Brooks. I mean, you when you're playing a 1.1% on player and a 3.3% on player in a single entry contest, I mean, just jam in the best plays at that point, right? So you could do this. You could say, okay, I want to play Eamon Thompson. What do these lineups look like? And you can look at these and go, well, I don't want to play De'Aaron Fox for whatever reason. What do these lineups look like? And what do they rate? I mean, you could do this to the point where they rate so lowly that it's telling you not to do it, right? This is significantly lower. So to play Eamon Thompson, but not to play De'Aaron Fox, like this would be the highest. Like 69 rated lineup. It's not like hard. It's not bad. I consider anything 60 plus, 50, 60 plus to be playable. Playable. Doesn't have to be, the difference between 88 and 83. It's not that dramatic. If stuff is coming out and you're seeing a whole bunch of red bars and it's telling you the rating is 12, that means don't do it. So we see here that, fading De'Aaron Fox and playing Eamon Thompson is okay. It's okay. You could do it. You could do it if you want. But this is what the lineups would look like, right? And this is a pretty contrarian lineup. These combinations of players to play Tatum in your lineup and Jackson Hayes, right, and Royce O'Neal. Like these are. I mean, they're owned. They're owned at 10-ish, 10 to 15%. But you're kind of not playing. You're not playing some of the 30, the 25, 30% owned guys. Alvarado, I think Alvarado is, playable, although he doesn't show up as much in some of these lineups that I noticed before the show. So maybe Alvarado is someone that you fit. Maybe that's why CJ McCollum over Alvarado shows up a little bit more in SimLabs. So you could do this type of thing. So I could exclude Alvarado, right? Let's say I'm excluding Alvarado. Let's say I'm focused more. If I'm fading Alvarado, I'm focused more on the Grizzlies Suns game. So maybe I want to play someone like Ja Morant, right? I want to play Ja Morant, and let's take away all these Pelicans, right? Maybe we don't play Olynyk. Maybe we don't play CJ McCollum, right? Maybe we play to the extent in which the Pels production is spread out and the Spurs are. Let's see. I don't know. I'm just theorizing. So let's say we don't play Alvarado, Olynyk, and McCollum, right? Do we have to? Is there anyone else? Eves Missy? Yeah, we got to, right? Because you got to put the players in. You can't just put the team in. But what do these lineups look like? Are these, Morant in, Alvarado, Olynyk, McCollum, Missy out? Okay, so let's see. Let's see what we got. This is a single entry contest. We may not even want to do this. I mean, 83, not bad. right? So you're getting 4. You're getting 4 Grizzlies now. So you're getting De'Aaron Fox, 4 Grizzlies, Kevin Durant as the Sun run back, and then RJ Barrett at 10%, Brandon Clark at 9.6%. Although, I mean, can you play Clark and Aldama together? Yeah, you can. I mean, at their prices, you can. So you could choose to do something like this. Here's Jaren Jackson in this lineup, and you're playing Peyton Pritchard here. So yeah, so you could choose to do this, and these lineups aren't bad, right? Here's an Al Horford lineup. Right, but Trey Murphy's another Pelican that we could have gotten rid of if you want to do something like this. I'm just showing you how to use SimLabs. But you could choose the opposite direction. Like maybe you want to play the Pels Suns game, and you want to fade the Grizzlies. So maybe you don't want to play Morant. You don't want to play Bane. Right, Aldon. Let's just put them all. I'm just curious. Let's say if I put them all in. Vince Williams. Who else? Brandon Clark. I don't know how often he shows up. Jaren Jackson. Start throwing through anyone else that we're missing. We got Aldama, Morant, Bane. I think that's it. Zach Edey, I guess we gotta throw him in. I mean, it could come up, but okay. So we're fading the Grizzlies, and then we're playing the Pels. And you're playing Alvarado, right? You're doing the opposite. You're playing Alvarado, and let's see what happens. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see what do the lineups look like that basically play no Grizzlies and prioritize playing Jose Alvarado. Or you can even take off Alvarado and just let's see what the lineups look like that pretty much have no Grizzlies in it. And what do they look like and what are they rated? Okay, no, look, it's absolutely viable, 100% viable. Look at this. You got Paul, Pritchard, Murphy, Horford, Missy, Fox, Williamson, Moses Moody. No one's single digit owns here. Right here's a healed Podziemski lineup. You're playing multiple Pelicans. Nick Smith at 0.2% owners. This is where you get. It's like this is where you look at and you go, this is weird. Yeah, but the rating is very high to play a 0.2% owned Nick Smith opposite the healed and Podziemski for the Warriors Hornets game. Because remember, correlation is already kind of built in. SimLabs does it for you. So correlation in the NBA is not that strong, but it's strong enough that SimLabs will prioritize a little bit more of players from the same game. But yeah, you could look through here. Here's a Bradley Beal lineup. Right. Let's say you don't want to play any Suns because you're just fading that game completely. Well, I mean, look at this first lineup. Beautiful. Here, let's save it. Done. Right? You could play this line. You could play a lineup. You could go into SimLabs and play a lineup that plays all the right. Let's look at the same lineups. You can play a lineup that just fades the Grizzlies game completely, the Grizzlies Sun game completely, and one lineup that literally stacks the game. You can do that. And look at the rating. So when people say, like, what players do I play? This SimLabs rating is 95.65. This SimLabs rating is 95.6. Okay? You can see there's not a dramatic difference between the two lineups from an EV perspective. Chris Paul is in this lineup, not in that lineup. Peyton Pritchard is in this lineup, not in that lineup. Trey Murphy is in this lineup, not in that lineup. Al Horford is in this lineup, not in that lineup. Yves Missy is in this lineup, not in that lineup. De'Aaron Fox is in both lineups. Zion is in one lineup, not the other. Moody, not the. I mean, literally, this is a 7v7, right? De'Aaron Fox is in both lineups. Yet SimLabs basically says that these lineups have about even ROI. You could choose to play either lineup, and over the course of 10,000 simulations, on average, they will make about the same amount of money. They will win about the same amount of time. What happens specifically tonight? Who knows? But over the course of 10,000 iterations, we played tonight's slate out 10,000 times. This lineup 1, and lineup 2 will end up netting you about the same return. So this is what I mean by lineups, not players. So you could just look at this and choose which one. Like you could close your eyes, you could flip a coin between these two lineups, and SimLabs is telling you they're about the same. So if you want to choose one over the other for whatever reason, it's the same as a coin flip. So if you just look and you go, yeah, there's no way I'm fading Peyton Pritchard tonight. Okay, then play the lineup that has Peyton Pritchard. Right? If you're looking and you go, oh, there's no way that I'm fading Santi Aldama. Well, then play the Santi Aldama line. Should you play a Santi Aldama lineup that's rated like 42 because it has the players that you want to play in it? No. That's why SimLabs is here. If you put together a lineup and you go, I want to play this guy, that guy, this guy, and this guy, and then SimLabs just basically tells you, it gives you the middle finger. Like it's telling you not to do that, right? It'll tell you the lineups that you should be playing. So definitely go check out SimLabs. It's part of the combo light package here at RotoGrinders. $29.99. It's really cheap, right? You get full access to SimLabs, our simulation-driven lineup tool for all four major sports: NFL, NBA, MLB, and PGA. Access to our StatPath databases like Plate IQ, Court IQ, Weather Edge, and all of our premium articles, rankings, podcasts, videos. So it's the cheap package, but it comes with SimLabs. If you're just playing the four major sports, dude, SimLabs, look how quickly I was doing all of that. You know how ridiculous that is? And this gets updated numerous times throughout the day. We even have a Discord channel that is SimLabs that updates, shows SimLabs NBA has been updated, right? Just to let you know. We have a timestamp here. And obviously, if you want to ask any questions about SimLabs, you could find me in there. Tag me, BlenderHD, in the RotoGrinders Discord, and I'll answer anything you need to know about SimLabs. So hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door, and tune into Grinders Live and Crunch Time later tonight as this injury list, right? As Darius Garland out. I mean, obviously, then Donovan Mitchell gets a bump. I mean, the Sims will change, right? If you're building a lineup and saying, I'm going to play these two lineups right now, and then next thing you know, like these two guys are out, there's some, all of a sudden LeBron sits for no reason, like something like that, like it'll all change. You should be running this much closer to lock with the most up-to-date information. So I will see you tomorrow with another NBA SimLabs analysis here on RotoGrinders.com.